everyone. Welcome back to Real Talk with REsimpli, where we get real about real estate, business, and everything in between. I'm your host, Chenay Jordan.
And I'm Don Carlson. Today, we got someone who's not just talking the talk, but walking it, man. Building businesses, leading teams, helping investors scale smarter. Mr. Stratton Brown, also known as Stratty Daddy. What's up, man?
Hey, bro. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah, Strat's story is seriously wild, from college football player to starting and scaling 2 companies to multiple 7 figures, all while teaching others how to leverage systems to buy their time back. He's brutally honest, always entertaining, and full of tactical gold. So let's jump right in. So Stratton, what I want to start with is I want you to take us back to your college football days. And first, just give us the basics. What led you to play college ball? Where'd you go to school? And don't forget to mention the TV mounting business that you told me about yesterday. Yeah.
So coming out of high school, I had scholarships in 3 different sports. So I had a full ride in track. I had a partial in rugby. There wasn't really a lot of money in rugby. And then I had essentially a full ride to a junior college. And then I had a partial to like a D1 AA school. And I bet on myself and went to a junior college for a semester. And then I transferred out to Fresno State. I always just I really wanted to play D1. That was like the goal, I'd say, since I was 14. Like me and my best friend, I lived with my best friend quite a bit from, let's call it 15 to 17, 18. And we'd watch like old Walter Payton videos. I don't know if you guys are like football fans, but we'd like watch his.
I grew up in Chicago, man. Walter Payton is like a god to us.
He's
man.
the man, right? And so we'd watch all these videos of him like running up hills. We'd go run this enormous hill in Salt Lake called the Widowmaker to like try and get better. Like I was like obsessed with being the best in football. And then we went to Fresno State. Fresno State was cool. My senior year, I was 17th in the country in tackles, and I was all conference.
Nice.
I had that TV mounting business, I want to say like sophomore and junior year.
What?
And
how did that even start? I mean, because
word of mouth marketing. I mounted my own television because I just wanted to mount my TV in my apartment. And then one of my friends came over and like, "Oh, bro, can you do this for me?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then one of our friends went over to his house, like, "Hey, how'd you do this?" And it said Strat. And then I just started charging money for it. That was like technically my first business that I'd ever ran by myself.
That's incredible. So I've heard a few of your stories about your experience playing college ball. You had some issues at certain times with like some certain coaches and what was going on.
I was gonna beat his ass.
Yeah.
I was dead set on beating my defensive coordinator's ass one day.
Can you tell that story just one more time?
So to give you context, one of my friends is a very high up politician at this point in time in the state of California. And so Fresno State wanted to bring this guy back as a defensive coordinator. And all of the old players made a huge fuss. And then my friend made a call to the university saying, if this man comes, we will fillet you on national news and you will never get any money from the state again. That's how bad of a person this guy is. Just so disrespectful and everything else. No matter what in football, you're going to get your ass chewed. But he was just a terrible person. Whenever I see all my teammates now, they always talk about, I can't believe we had to play for that guy. I feel bad for his kids.
Wow.
That he's a parent to those kids.
Wow.
And it showed me, really how to not be a leader in, that way. Because, Fresno State, my senior year, we went, 1-11. And I personally believe we were one of the worst-run organizations in America at that point in time. If, we could have gone bankrupt, we would have gone bankrupt. And I think it was my sophomore year, something had happened, and I was like, man, I fucking hate this guy. And then, I have to have a one-on-one meeting with my defensive backs coach. I was like, at this point, because my dad owns an electrical company, it wasn't huge. I had a couple guys. I was like, I can go get an assault charge, not graduate from college, go work for my dad, and my life will not materially change. And so if he has a problem, I'm just going to beat his ass. And then at that point, I didn't really have to deal with him anymore. My coach was like, oh, he's serious.
Did he go?
I was like, I'm dead serious.
Was he let go?
He eventually got let go.
He eventually got
after
that
my
guy.
senior year.
Oh, so you still had to play
After
for
my
him.
senior year.
That's
After my junior year, he was our D coordinator, and he got demoted to a
Okay.
linebackers coach. And to be someone to go from power to no power, there were several instances where our new coach had to sit us down and tell us not to like scream at him, because like he'd say something to like one of the players. I remember this. It was on kickoff, and he said something to one of the players, and the player turns, "Fuck you! You're not my coach, piece of shit," and he just keeps going. And he's just the linebackers coach now, so he can't really do anything. And like everyone hated him, coaches hated him, and like my D coordinator was my DB's coach, and I remember he said something to one of our DBs, and our DB went off on him, and we had to have a meeting. He's like, "Hey, I know you guys like don't like him, but like we still gotta kind of respect adults."
You're like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, it was really, really, really bad. But my experience at Fresno State showed me exactly how to like not be a leader, because my head coach, very brilliant man in football. Tim was a super smart guy, but he didn't know any of his team members. Like he didn't even know where I was from. I was like, bro, I'm the only guy from Salt Lake on this team. You should at least know where I'm from. And like he'd walk out on the field and he'd just be on his phone for the first little bit of like an hour of practice, not really interacting with anybody. To where if you think about leading a team now and you want to get the most out of a team, excuse me, the Solani's making me burp. You got to really know them. And the more that they know you care, the more that they care how much you know. Is like
100%.
essentially what it is. And like that sports background gave me the ability to see what it takes to lead a team the wrong way. To where my defensive coordinator my senior year, I trusted him because I knew he cared about me. He was going to push to get the best out of me. Same with like my strength coach. And I'd listen to him because I knew they cared. The dude's like that other guy, we all knew he didn't care about us. We all knew he was a piece of shit. So like nobody liked him. Right? So the more that you actually can show your team members that you care about them, that you'll get significantly more out of them. And that was, I wish I would have gotten to business like straight away when I was 18. But that experience at Fresno State really leveled me up as a leader.
Yeah. Was there like a tough love moment from one of your coaches? I mean, we've talked about the piece of shit coaches, but was there a tough love moment from a coach that you did like respect and look up to that, you know?
Yeah,
gave
something
you-
like hard to swallow at
Yeah.
first. Like, dude, I freaking hate this guy. But
Yeah,
like,
but it ended up being like,
or I hate what he's saying to me, maybe, instead of it could have been from the good coach too, or an authority figure in your life too.
I'd say two of them. So Joey Bose, he's the head strength coach for the Bengals right now, and he was my strength coach in college. And I remember one day I was like struggling with squats, and he pulled me aside. He was like, "Pull your fucking head out of your ass. You got this. What's going on here?" And I go and I crushed my next set of squats. It was like, because we would do 20, 15, 10. So like you'd essentially just max out 20, max out 15, max out 10, and he's probably going to try and make you hit another 20 on that 10 to try and like push you. Right. And so I remember he like pulled me aside and was like, "What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah." And then I go, and for the next set, I absolutely crushed it. And he pulls me aside again. He's like, "I told you, like, you need to like hold yourself to a better, higher standard, and you need to think better." So like that one was a really, really big one of showing me just however you approach something with a mentality. If you approach it the right way, things will go the right way. Right?
100%.
But you have to go into it with like the right energy. That was a big one. What was another one where I got my ass chewed all the time for all sorts of stupid shit that I did. Another one, my defensive coordinator my senior year, Coach Ward. So for context for you football people, he put out 11 first-round draft picks at my position. So he was like one of the best in the country. Like he coached Davion Clowney when he was at South Carolina, Melvin Gordon, D'Angelo Hall was one of his DBs. He was at Louisville with Lamar after he left Fresno State. Like an absolute dog of a human. And he was like, "All right, Strat, you are not good enough." He's the only person I listen to. He's like, "Bro, if you make it to the league, you'll be like practice squad or special teams." He's like, "But the athleticism, you are the hardest working kid I know, but like the athleticism isn't quite there in order to get to the level where you'd want to be." And like I could take him and his advice because I knew he cared about me. I knew he knew my work ethic because I'd be with him every day watching hours of film. And I knew he had seen the best of the best for years to where I could trust his opinion. And it was the only time I didn't really have a chip on my shoulder from a conversation like that. Like the rest of my life, I have a massive chip on my shoulder for whatever reason. If someone slighted me, cut me off in line, like I'd find them and we could bury them, like whatever it is. I have a very big chip on my shoulder.
Do you have road rage? Are you a road rage?
No, I don't have
person?
road rage.
No,
but
I do. I have crazy road rage, especially like school car line. Oh boy. Oh, man.
I try not to because Zeno's in the car and he doesn't need to see me just screaming at old ladies.
Just
and shit,
going nuts.
My
like just
my kids
going nuts.
find it hilarious, but yeah, they're yeah. I suffer from road rage. I think that's like probably my biggest chip. So, but like transitioning from football to business, kind of like the same question, because obviously you've had mentors also in the business space. Is there a particular time that you can remember one of your business mentors giving you some tough love and some hard to swallow advice that ended up being super beneficial to you in the business world?
I remember one time one of my mentors screamed at me saying, "These times are going to be hard. You need to spend less time with your significant other and your son. Pull your head out of your ass and go to work." Because like something was happening to where business wasn't going the way I wanted it to. This is like when, I think this is before we shut down Call Magicians. Because I had issues with my partner. We had an operator still like 6 figures from us. And I was like, oh my God, we had like 130 employees. Like it was just a lot. And then in 2022, when the market shifted, a lot of real estate investors went out of business. And then a lot of real estate investors owed me a fuck ton of money because they decided to go out of business. They didn't pay their bills. So it was really stressful at that time. And him just being like, hey, I really don't care about your fucking problems. Like, it is your job to solve the problems and just get to work. No matter what it is, the buck stops with you. And so that was a really good tough love moment from one of my mentors.
There's no such thing as work-life balance when like shit's getting real and on the line.
fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like, bro, he was like, this is what matters. And I don't believe in work-life balance either.
No.
I try and just integrate it into my life the best way I can of just having both. Right. So I tried to never miss walking my son to school. That is like my time with him at 7 a.m. Typically, I'm not working. Excuse me. I wake up my son at 6:30. I have no work from 6:30 to 8:15.
Yeah.
And that is like my time with my family and Zeno bumping Disney music or whatever else. And then when he comes home, he'll usually come upstairs, give me a big hug. And then I try and take him to his jujitsu practices and stuff like that. What else? On the weekends, I try and take one day off. Like it'll be, and not for any particular reason besides I just need to be a more present father. And if I absolutely need to do something, I can work either in the morning because he'll sleep in a little bit, or I can just work at night.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's something interesting, and we'll get into this a little bit later, like for the actual like real estate like applicable stuff. But that's one thing I hear like all the time with newer investors, like, oh, I want to get into real estate to make a lot of money, but also like have a lot of time. And it's like, oh no,
You do it.
You can. But like you gotta lift off. It's a rocket ship. Like it takes a lot to get it off the ground. But like it's like get ready to work, and then you'll see that in a couple of years, maybe if you do the right thing. But
yeah, I think that's the biggest misnomer for newbies is it's like, oh, I can quit my W-2 and do this, and I'm going to have all this time. No. Yeah.
And there's no real time, and then you have to be real with yourself, and you just have to figure out what you don't want and you do want out of your business. And if you do want more time, you need to come to the realization that someone else will probably just bury you. And that's okay. Like, I just want my company to make X amount of dollars because there is someone else who's absolutely locked in and they are trying to destroy the world. And they're trying to build this company as big as it can possibly go. They have no kids. Their life is their work. And they're just ready to go.
Yeah.
And so you just need to have, God is very fair in all ways. Even if you, let's say, build a business on lifestyle, you still have to, it's still vulnerable per se, because you're not as up to date, you're not in the weeds, you don't know what's going on. And so if something does happen, you may not just be as prepared to pivot when something happens. And so there's always gives and takes with everything in business.
Yeah,
Mhm.
100%. Something, so, I mean, you obviously were a former college athlete. We know Dean's story, and I feel like there's several people in this space that, came from some sort of sports background, and they do attribute a lot of that experience to shaping, like you mentioned, about leadership or just shaping different aspects of business that make them successful. But what about for those who don't have that athletic background? Like, how can you draw out that competitiveness and the things that a lot of people attribute to being an athlete for somebody that didn't have that high level athletic experience, do you think?
I think, and I'm not a huge fan of burning the boats because I did it and it made my life really hard. But at a point in time, it was either I performed or me and my son would starve. And so there wasn't like a need for motivation. It's like either we do deals or we go hungry. What are we going to choose? To where a lot of people want some type of motivation or fancy, or maybe you got to wake up and listen to Goggins every day and have him tell you you're a piece of shit and you need to get after it. But if you don't have like an athletic background, because all the athletics showed me is that if I work hard at something, I can get the desired result. And most people don't really have that in life, right? If you're in debate team, I could see you getting that. If you were in some type of club, martial arts, something like, because your son's in judo, right, Chenay?
Taekwondo.
Taekwondo,
Yeah.
right? So you can see practice to, okay, practice on this, practice on this, practice on this, to, oh, I got this submission, or I got this kick, or I landed this thing. And you can see that if I actually put in effort, I'll get my desired result. It just may take a little bit longer than I thought.
Yeah.
That is what athletics does for you, is that it shows you that if discipline pays off, because most people would be disciplined if they knew it would pay off.
Yeah.
But there's no faith.
Motivation is fleeting. Discipline is really where the results come from, because
Yeah.
you can't be motivated 100% of the time.
Exactly.
That's interesting. The discipline pays off. Like if somebody's like in the arts or something, like a musician, like practicing guitar, like for a long time, like that you can attribute that. It's more like obvious, I think, in the sports the sports realm,
Yeah.
because like especially when you get higher and higher. Like I played just about up to college for baseball. So it's like I saw like what it took to get to like that next
Exactly.
level, and it's like, you know what, with my life goals, I don't know if I want to put in the time. Like,
And you realize exactly what it takes. You're like, like when I got cut from the Seahawks, I had to make that decision. I know the amount of time and effort it is going to take for me to get another shot. No guarantees next year. Am I willing to make that sacrifice, or do I want to start a career? And at least like I knew what it took. I knew the amount of discipline, and I can look at it and like, okay, is this the road I want to go down? I know what it takes, and my odds are 50-50, maybe 40-60. That's not a risk I'm willing to take. And so I've moved on.
Calculated risks. I like that.
Yeah, for
No,
sure.
for sure.
Do you want to maybe go into talking about we've mentioned call magicians a couple times. You want to maybe go into that a little bit? And
yeah, because Stratton, from the like the TV hanging business, was it straight into call magicians and building a call center, or like what was the timeline again?
No, I had the TV hanging business. Then I came home. I started a home inspection business. That really didn't do anything. I did, like I always say, I did one mock home inspection, went into a crawl space. It's like, I'm never fucking doing this. Like,
Go out with rat crap and spider
yeah, like
webs,
I was
dude.
like, there's no
F
way.
this, dude.
There's no way. And I ended up working for another guy. He changed my life. based off of a conversation to where he was like, I want to buy a jet, and I used to make $20,000 a year. Now I make $200,000 a month. Like absolute paradigm shift from someone who grew up in a really small town with a stoplight, and everybody didn't necessarily talk about money because it was a bad thing, to meeting this guy who is super ambitious. He's doing everything I want to do. And luckily enough, I was able to get a job with him, ended up running a lot of his day to day. And then I broke off on my own. And then from there we did, and I just wholesaled, right? For like 9 months. I was absolutely struggling, went homeless for a little bit.
Homeless?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
That one, it wasn't too bad. Luckily I have Kalani, to where I got to go with her. Me and my son did. And then honestly, I just haven't moved out since. Me and Kalani have been living together since.
That's amazing.
And then go ahead.
Oh no, you can continue.
From there, I mean, we were wholesaling that whole time, and then wholesaling, and then at a point, I was doing like 2 to 4 deals a month, all with VAs, and I'd essentially just have everything running to where I'd just show up on my calendar, and I could close the person if it worked out, and it was all with VAs, texting, cold calling, and so I went to this event. I met a guy who hosted the event, and he was like, hey, I have this call center. And this is back when it was hard to get people in Latin America. And he was from like Mexico. And at this point in time, I had 2 other people like, hey, I see what you're doing. I will front all the marketing and we'll split the profits 50-50. And I was like, okay, like I'm down. We do it. And we were using this call center. The call center was like, hey, we got to pay up front. I was like, hey, bro, that's fine. I sent him the money, and then essentially they disappear off the face of the earth. And so I had to cover all the investors who are essentially paying for all the marketing. I had to pay for that the next month too. I was like, hey, don't worry. Like, I just have to eat it. I'm a big boy. I made a bad decision with this guy. And so he walked with I don't know, 5 to 10 grand. It was a lot of money for me at that point in time. Mm-hmm. It was like a lot of money. I was like, fuck, dude. All right. And so I went to a different call center, and we were at like 6. I needed to go up to 12 callers, and I go up to 12 callers, and they were terrible. And so, okay, we're pulling you. I'm just taking everything in house, and I'll just manage everything in house myself. So I manage everything in house. I get the system set up with the texting, the calling, the lead management, and I'm just running it that way. And then a bunch of people like saw what I was doing, because we have a really good community out here of like meetups and everything else. And I was running my own meetup. Then a bunch of people kept like, hey, can you like help me with VAs? Can you help me with VAs? I was like, oh, there might be a business from this. And we took it to $1 million in 18 months. And that one was pretty cool. And it was just from demand. And I think we did a lot of things that no one else in the space was really doing. We wanted to go like more high end. Like all of our, like if one of our customers closed a deal, I'd send them a $300 bottle of champagne.
Nice.
Like a custom bottle of champagne. Whenever someone onboarded with us, we'd get their t-shirt size, we'd get their favorite candy, we'd get their birthday, we'd get their wife's birthday, we would get their favorite sports team. So every time, if they had a birthday, they'd get a present from us. If there was an anniversary, they'd get a present from us. As soon as they onboarded with us, they got a custom hoodie. Like we took the customer experience from, hey, this is just some random company in the Philippines, to where, no, this is like an actual corporate company, and we take care of them. And like, they got a completely different experience than anybody had offered at that point in time.
No, absolutely. That reminds me of the book. I think the book title is Blue Fishing. Have you heard of that? That's the concept, is like you give very detailed, specialized gifts. So like if you're really into like rugby and your customer knows the favorite team, like you send them like a signed t-shirt or something from that one of the top rugby players. It's like, instead of just like, oh, here's some alcohol, or here's a gift card to like Nordstrom's or something.
That's definitely something that I've tried to implement, over here, is, sending custom gifts to our people for the same reason. It's like, I mean, you were talking about this earlier, Stratton, about like about in regards to your coaches, about like actually knowing who these people are, KYC, but in a real way, and in a meaningful way. So, yeah.
Now, kind of actually going back into like knowing your team, knowing your players, if you will. What are some ways that you think people can apply, like making the team feel special, buying into a culture, whether especially for like wholesaling?
We did the same thing for all of our team members. Like I had a pretty big budget just for team member retention because it's another side of the funnel for me, right? So they'd all get a birthday present. We'd have employee of the month that would be selected by every other team member in that group, and it'd be based off of the company's core values. What would be another thing? We had one-on-ones. I personally don't like one-on-ones because if you are reporting to me, I'll be talking to you a lot during the day. But the team managers would have one-on-ones, and all of our people internally, this was another thing, they got trained 3 times a day. I don't know even if you have your own team, you weren't training people 3 times a day. So like we'd train them once in the morning, they'd get one-on-one coaching 1 or 2 times a week. And then we'd have Steve Trang, who's in my opinion, the premier sales trainer. He would train our entire company too. And so we'd do all that. So they could see how much we were investing into them and we cared about their success. So when they onboarded with us, we'd ask them what their goals were, right? So how can we help you reach your goals? What is your family doing? So all these things. And whenever anybody comes on into any company that I have, I tell them, it is my goal that if you work for me and you end up leaving or you get another promotion, it is the easiest thing in the world for you to go get another job because you leveled up your thinking, you leveled up your skills, and you can honestly go do anything because you worked at this company. That is a much different approach than a lot of other companies take, to where my goal is just to help you become an absolute savage of a human. And we say, okay, no matter, I don't care if you're having sex with your wife, I don't care if you're playing pickleball against a grandma, we're going to win. Like, we're going to win and we're going to be the best. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. And so that way, like, they can see how much we care about them. And I want them to change their lives and change the trajectory of their lives.
No, that's amazing. And then you build all-stars and then they're super thankful and grateful. So they stick around, like making them the person that they are today. So no, that's a great strategy. Also, like I do that with some vendors too. Like I'm based in Southern California. My market's Cincinnati, Ohio. Like when I go out there, like take our contractor out to dinner, get whatever you want, bottles of wine, like stuff like that. And it's like, especially if you're remote, do that once or twice a year. They'll have that memory like the whole time. So like, and doing that with buyers and title companies, bringing crumble cookies. I get deals from title companies just by spending $100, freaking expensive cookies, by the way.
They're the best. I love their pink cookies.
They're delicious. So like I'll bring them to 2 different title companies that I use in Ohio, but really good friends with another one. And then I get deals and he's super tied into a buyer network out in Cincy. But just those little things, you don't even have to have a team to implement these things, is what I'm trying to say.
Another thing we would pay for parties in other countries. So we hired in 13 different countries. And so if they were in one of the random ones, we couldn't, but like we paid for a team party in Mexico. And I was like, hey, here's your budget. You just have to show up to work on time on Monday. And so we paid for them to throw an enormous party, get drinks, get food. We did the same thing in Egypt and we did the same thing in the Philippines. And then I'd FaceTime in whenever it was, say hi to everybody and just like let them do their thing. To where like you can still do things that you would typically do in person. You just got to get creative.
Yeah. You know, Sherrod actually last year did like a world tour because, you know, pretty much, I mean, Dawn and I are like 2 of 4 that are US based, but he went to the Philippines, he went to India, he went to Bangladesh, and like went and hung out with every single member of our team. And, you know, I know that like the folks that we work with were so grateful for that. Just to be able to, you know, spend some time with our fearless leader in person. So
the man who doesn't talk.
The man who doesn't talk.
Yes.
The man
we love you, Sherrod.
No, for sure. And actually based on that topic, like the team members that Sherrod has been able to hire, VAs or not, or like not US based, they're phenomenal. I haven't had the best luck of hiring VAs. So, I mean, I think a lot of other investors like struggle with that too. Stratton, question you is like, when like what's your process of hiring VAs, and like how do you make sure that they become the rock stars that you need them to be?
It's easier to take a B to an A than it is to take a D to a B. Would be number one. Right? You don't really want to hire on. And I have a semi-controversial take. We are not in the business of hiring A players because you don't have enough money to hire an A player. Like, I can't hire someone from Google for $500,000 a year. That is an A player to me. A dude who went to Harvard, who was ambitious, that is an A player. We can't necessarily afford that. So I need to find that diamond in the rough B to C player, and I need to turn them into an A player. Right? And you have to have very, very high standards of what you think is going to fit that criteria. We have a 3-step hiring process. We do personality tests. And then I fire really fast too. Like, we will hire fast and we will fire fast.
I like that. I like that approach. I've heard that several times. I've heard it several times. It's to hire fast but fire faster, I think, is what a lot of the gurus say.
Yeah, and I'm your guru's guru. Like,
Stratton Daddy. It's in the name. Who's your daddy?
What else would be good for you? As far as hiring, it's another sales funnel, and people really don't appreciate that, to where you want to go through hundreds, if not 1,000 candidates to like see quality and what is the best in order to hire on someone good. And then don't be afraid to hold your standard, to where we had a dude the other day. I was really excited about him for our real estate company. And he had worked at another company in Seattle, this and that. He was great on the phone. You couldn't even tell. I think he was somewhere in South America. And then he was in the group chat responding before the day started. Our day started at 9. And, you know, if you're not on there at 9 a.m., when it's supposed to start, you're fired. And he said, well, my computer's restarting. Most people would be like, oh, yeah, that's fine. Like, bro, I need someone who can at least think 10 minutes ahead and be like, let me see if my computer has any issues. And then, like, he should have done that an hour ago. But then he wants to say, well, I told you my computer's restarting. I don't give a fuck. Like, it is a very, very basic litmus test of intelligence, and I don't want to say know-how. Stick to it. All the stupid words that you would say. Yeah. Initiative. That's the word I'm looking for. In order to do that. And you didn't do it. So, like, we just moved on. And he was probably the best person who we'd interviewed. But you have to hold the standard. And then again, I'm a big sports guy, right? And the worst thing in sports is on like a Sunday afternoon when you're going over film and that laser pen comes out and you know you fucked up. And then they show the whole team that you fucked up. So you let all the other team members know, hey, this guy was really good. He was probably the best one we had, but we fired him because of this, this, and this. Like, we're not playing games.
It's like the equivalent of like hustling on and off the field, or like for baseball, like Puig on the Dodgers when he was on it, like one of the best players, but like he had an attitude problem and he wouldn't run out ground balls and stuff like that. And it's just like not a part of the culture for any great sports organization.
Yeah.
But
you really had to take it over. You had to take it over to the Dodgers, really, Don.
Yeah. Who's your team again? The Astros?
Yep.
Where's my trash can?
Aren't you guys aren't you guys cheats? Aren't the Astros like cheats?
Oh boy. Oh yeah. Here we go.
Like they're legitimate
Everybody
cheats.
cheats in baseball. We just got caught.
With high-powered cameras from center field, tipping pitchers and ruining Yu Darvish's career. That's all.
All I hear is a bitter Dodgers fan. That's all I hear.
Bitter.
Yeah.
Hey, we're in the NLCS. I cannot shit talk right now because it just never ends well. So I'm just gonna
go Brewers. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see in the ship. We'll two-peat. There we go. Calling it here. But no, that's great. And Stratton, thanks for jumping on that mastermind call yesterday. Did a lot of good content on there, just with like follow-up process and marketing. Cause I mean, that's a big problem for newer, any type of investor. It's like, oh, we need more leads. So kind of, if you want to go over like what's your marketing strategy? What are you doing right now to keep the pipeline filled?
So right now we do a lot of PPL, cold calling to very niche lists, texting to very niche lists. I'll start mass texting here soon. I just need to find it's stupid that none of these mass texting platforms have built in a chatbot. I don't know why the fuck they don't do it. They can do it. I have it built in GHL, but I can't send enough text messages for it to make sense. So that, I mean, if someone wants a business idea that I think could do really well for the next little bit, that would be the business idea.
Stratton will be your first client.
I'll be your first client.
And first
I'll be your
affiliate.
investor.
Yeah.
And I'll be your first affiliate if you actually do get it.
First everything.
So that's pretty much all we do. We do for our texting, it's AI texting, but it's a small enough batch to where it doesn't necessarily flag our domains.
And word around the industry is texting's dead. I know that's not necessarily true because I've talked to you before. But like kind of negating
I know people crushing it with texting. I know people crushing it with just texting agents.
Isn't it illegal?
I was just about to bring that up. What about the legality issues that are popping up left and right? I think isn't it Texas was the big one recently with their new bill
so
about
I mean,
texting.
don't text in Texas and don't become a poster child for them to fillet you in front of the world. But so Chenay talking about CG, I was talking to Dean. The biggest people in CG right now do all texting and calling. They do a lot of texting and calling in Southern California. And they have, let's say, X amount of dollars in lawsuits, and they're like, it's the cost of doing business.
What about
if you're broke and they sue you, what the fuck are they going to take from you anyways? So like, take that with a grain of salt.
But what about beyond the lawsuits? What about getting banned from carriers? Then what?
I set up dummy LLCs.
Which that was
Don
was
told me
wild.
about that yesterday.
That was a cool
Yeah.
thing. Like again, it's like the risk reward. Like going back to the training up for the pros again. It's like risk reward. It's Southern California that mindset works. But like in Indiana, like Northwest Indiana or something where you can wholesale houses for $5,000 a pop, it's a little different, right?
Yeah, that's why we don't wholesale shit boxes. We wholesale deals that we can make good money on.
Taking it back to the higher standards, guys.
Yes. We have higher standards. I know. So my personal philosophy on the real estate business, because like we did the 0 to $1 million challenge and I got absolutely decimated because I tried to go after all these different markets and everything else. And it was a great learning experience.
It was really fun to watch, Strat, by the way. I was fucking cheering you on the whole entire time though. I was like, you can do this. Let's go.
Thank you. I learned exactly what not to do. And what you do not want to do is you don't want to go for volume in these shitty little markets and try and wholesale $5,000 to $10,000 deals. Because a $10,000 deal can get whittled down really fast with real estate, just with liens and issues. Mm-hmm. And then to do that much volume, you have to build a bigger operation to even handle the volume, right? To where there's that and someone may be doing, let's say someone's doing $10 million a year and they're doing that many houses over there, or they're in California and they do half the deals to probably a quarter of the deals with the same amount of revenue, with less operational overhead, with less employee bullshit. That is the business I want, right? So it's just doing it a little bit smarter versus harder. Nothing against Indiana. I know Sherrod's in Indiana, but I just don't want to deal with those little shit boxes.
He doesn't really wholesale. He flips. So that's a different beast in and of itself. But I mean, I think the point is too that, you know, if you're wholesaling, you know, an expensive home or a ship box, it really takes the same amount of effort, you know.
It absolutely does.
Why waste your time with the ship box?
And then I guess some of the adverseness with going to an expensive market is like higher EMDs. Like it's more expensive to get a deal, but like you have to have that higher standard to be like, I'm not wholesaling anything like less than $50K. Like the last deal I JV'd, it was an $80K assignment fee, but the house price was $850. So it's
right.
Like,
it's a much different game. And I'm not saying like, you just want to go after something with at least a $250,000 ARV.
Yes.
Like if you can go after something with at least 250, you should typically make 10% of that. So hopefully you could make 25 grand on that. We like 350 and above. That's because that's where we know we can make decent money, and that'll be the best. To where if you're going after these deals, just $10,000 deals get whittled down so fast in real estate. We've had it happen all the time. A seller, they always lie to you. If you didn't know, all sellers lie. And
Brought to you by REsimpli.
Brought to you by REsimpli, by the way.
It's true, guys.
Great.
We
It's
can
a
all
great
confirm.
series.
It's another one of my favorites. Yeah.
And you just never, like, they may have a random hospital lien, and then you, out of the goodness of your heart, like, you can go negotiate with that hospital and be like, hey, bitch, this is the only money they have. We'll give you $3,000 or else it's not happening. Right? And you have to strong arm then. But then you're not going to let that poor old lady only get $1,000 to move on with her life. You're going to be like, okay, like, we'll help her out. Like, you know, like, and so, like, you got to have a heart with it.
Bleeding hearts of the world unite.
If you have a bigger deal, there's just more room for bullshit. There's just more room for issues like that. And so that's why I like it, because no, I'm not a bleeding heart liberal in any way. But we deal with a lot of crazy people who are in insane situations, and you kind of want to help them out a little bit. Again, sometimes people are just complete assholes, and you may just like, no, you know what? I don't care. Like, you're screwed. You did this to yourself. But if it is like a crazy situation, like, I can't tell you how many times I've had to send money to people before a deal closes in order to help them get somewhere. And I'm like, all right, sign this piece of paper so I can get
the
this money
storage
back.
locker, the motel, extended stay, like all that fun stuff.
All that, bro.
I saw a case. I think we've talked about this before, Stratton, about, or maybe it wasn't you, but it doesn't matter. Like, that the most delusional sellers are those that are in pre-foreclosure, and like some of
100%.
the hardest to deal with. And I saw somebody posted a reel the other day where it was a text message, and they were trying to get a hold of this seller, and the seller texts back, and he's like, can't talk right now, in Jamaica on vacation, the house is in pre-foreclosure. Like, I wouldn't even want to help
what?
like, yeah, I wouldn't even want to help
does not
somebody
surprise
like
me
that.
a bit.
It doesn't surprise me either, but it's like, though, I would have a hard time. It's like criminal defense attorneys. Like, I don't know how they fucking sleep at night. I don't know if I would want to help a seller that is that irresponsible. But I mean, I guess your answer to that would probably be like, is it a good deal?
Yeah, like, I'm in the business of making money. Don't get it twisted. Like, I'm in the business of making money, but when it comes down to it, and it's like $1,000, and $1,000 is going to inherently change that person's life, $1,000 will not change my life, and I will not notice it. Give them the extra fucking $1,000.
Yeah.
And it's easier to do that when you're doing $30,000 deals than when you're doing a $2,000 deal. Like, okay, we get $1,000 for this thing. Like, how are we supposed to pay our overhead? At a point in time, we had one deal in San Antonio. We were going to sign it for $500, and there ended up being a ton of title issues, and we'd already assigned it to a buyer. We had to switch title companies, and I was like, bro, just fucking I don't want to deal with this. Like, the $500 is not worth the time. Just take it. Like, and I signed over all of our rights. I was like, just fucking handle it. He's like, okay, I got a price reduction. I was like, cool, bro. Like, just make it happen.
Talk to them.
Talk to them. That seller is in a tough spot. Help them out. I don't want to deal with this anymore. It's just bogging our team down. So
That's great. Like that. For sure. And I mean, with I know, and you guys are nationwide, like wholesalers and investors. I've heard about your follow-up process, and it's amazing. So I would love to kind of transition into like, what does, like, lead comes in, follow-up process, start to finish, like what does that follow-up process to look like to get that seller back on the phone?
So a lead comes in, within the first couple minutes, they get 2 or 3 text messages, and they get an email, and then they should have gotten, within the first 5 minutes, 3 different phone calls. Within the first 10 minutes, they should get another 3 different phone calls. And then we should triple dial them 3 to 5 times within the first day of that lead coming in.
That is so savage. That is savage.
So how many touches day one? Like 15?
It's a lot of
15?
It's a lot of
20?
touches. If you want to count like each individual thing, over 20. Like each individual phone call, for sure, over 20. And then we
Gotcha.
still have implemented 2 different AI systems to like call them.
Is that
To
even
where
if they answer, like if they're responding to you, or is this like,
if they're
Is that
responding to us, like we can push it forward and we don't need to keep triple dialing them and
okay,
we're getting a response. But like if we aren't getting anything, like, oh yeah, we paid really good money to get them this lead to come in. We need to get them on the phone.
so? After the 20 plus touches day one, then I know you have something called 7 days of hell. Can you go
Yeah.
over that? Because that's an awesome, insane name, but
Um,
accurate.
we're still triple dialing them 3 or 4 times throughout the day. Then they still get different emails, different text messages. We have AI calling through them every day. It's a lot. And we still put them into a different software. We can text them from a different software with a different LLC other than the one that's in our REsimpli account.
Yeah, to
So
protect
we
your
can-
reputation for
Yeah.
like your main core
so
business.
we can still try and get them on the phone.
Yeah, that's when you were talking about that on the mastermind, I'm like the words tasteful harassment came into
I was
my
waiting
brain.
for you to bring that up.
Yeah. So but I mean that's what it takes sometimes though, especially if you're paying good money for leads. Like you got to do what you got to do. It's the hard work. How are you going to separate yourself from the thousands of other wholesalers in the nation that are, or hundreds of thousands, maybe, I don't know, tons of people. So it's like
And we rub some people the wrong way, but then I just don't really care because they're getting with a PPL lead, they're going to 4 other websites. It doesn't matter. So someone is going to get a hold of that person, and they're going to be getting these phone calls anyways. They might as well just come from us. And then we always just say, like, if someone gets pissed off, like, oh, I'm so sorry, ma'am. You know, like the carriers switched up some stuff. We don't even know if our phone calls are going through.
amazing. And I mean,
This is such gold.
and with, I want to bring back what you just said. So even though like you're buying the lead, they're going on 4 other websites. You're telling me exclusive leads aren't exclusive, Stratton?
I don't think any leads are exclusive. No lead is exclusive.
Don't email us, guys. Email Stratton. PPL companies out there who say you have exclusive leads. Go email
No,
Stratton.
so like Lead Zolo and Real Estate Bees and Property Leads are my 3. I love all of their CEOs. They're great providers for us. They have no control of what the consumer does once they leave their website.
And that's
And
it.
as soon as they go on that website, that Google is so good at placing what they think you need in your life right now. I know you've talked about a mattress, and then all you get is mattress ads for the next 6 weeks. It is no different. So they're going to get banner ads everywhere they go. They're going to get PPC ads. They're going to get YouTube ads. It may not be right now. It may not be right afterwards, but it may be 6 hours later.
Yeah.
All of everywhere they're going on the internet will be that. So if that's the case, no leads are exclusive. So that's why you got to get them on the phone, because you can buy exclusive leads. You can run your own PPC and get exclusive stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't get a hold of them in 5 minutes, the odds of you closing them like drop 80 or 90% anyways.
That's crazy. And that's why like the motivate, like treating each lead exclusive or not, like, and they could be exclusive leads from the provider, but like you said, they can't control the actions of the consumer. So it's like treat every lead like they're about to call somebody else. And
Yeah.
You
No, that's
mentioned I want to shift gears a little bit, and I definitely want to get your take on some controversial topics in a minute here, but something that I think we would be remiss in not talking about that you've touched on is AI. You know, I think we've seen in real time in the past 6 months just the crazy advancements of AI and what it already has the capability to do. What are your thoughts, Stratton, on like in how investors should be implementing AI now, and like how advanced do you think it's going to get? Because you
have
said
7
something.
to 10 years to make money before you are essentially a have-not.
Say
But
that
that is
again.
just, you have 7 to 10 years to make money before you will never be able to make money again. And the gap between the haves and the have-nots will be so large, it'll be like feudalism. Because like everyone's jobs will be replaced within the next 24 months. You should be able to do like a one-man wholesaling company with AI. A lot of it on just, you could, with how much REsimpli even has, it'll keep exponentially growing. You don't need a lot of team members. And it could be a one-man, and you could use David Old's transaction coordination company to handle it. You're a one-man company doing a couple deals a month. And it's not, and you're working like a couple hours a day because the AI does everything else. Steve thinks that he can get a bot to run a full appointment within the next 9 months. Start to close a deal. Right? So if it's like that, and then I went to a conference the other day. I went to the All In Summit. It's hosted by 4 tech billionaires. And I got to talk to all these different amazing people in tech. Not a single person could tell me that it's going to be positive for the bottom half to lower 70% half of America in the next 6 to 10 years, because there will be no more jobs.
Do you see an ethical problem with that?
Oh yeah, I think it's terrible. I mean, I grew up in a really small town in Utah. I think a lot of those people will be left in the dust. My parents wouldn't even know about it. I was talking to my mom about this the other day. She's like, I'm going to this AI conference. And then I go on my fucking AI rant doomer. She's like, oh, wow, I haven't thought about it that way. Because they aren't necessarily tied in with it. And they aren't thinking about the way we think about it. As someone who had 130 employees and not great margins, wow, I could have a company with that much power, only have 4 employees, have significantly larger margins. What are you going to take? I'm going to take the easier route to making more money. Everyone's in business to make money. Yeah, you want to help whoever you're helping. But if I can make business like Google and essentially print money every day, all day, that's what I want to do. And AI enables most companies to do that. And whoever has the most money to invest back into more AI will continue to take market share until there's not really as much market share left. And then then everybody's going to be chasing new opportunities. And so those opportunities will become more and more scarce. And it's just going to kind of compound on itself. It's going to be fascinating. What's going to happen? I think we're going to be like backstopped by the government.
Do you think regulations are coming with AI?
Yeah. And I think I'm a pretty hardcore libertarian. And as you think about regulations coming, China and other countries don't regulate their AI, and they are just trying to win the race. So if you regulate the AI, then you essentially fall behind on the global race, and that's not what you want either. And
we have to protect the 50 to bottom. You're the bottom 50%.
Well, the question that I was going to have was like,
I'm just stirring the pot over here.
No, for sure. If you envision yourself as like, oh, I don't want to be left behind, what are some things that like people can do today to make sure that they aren't left in the dust? Like,
it's a great question.
So for like what you guys implemented with AI on REsimpli, you should pay for that right now, because it's only an advantage if you're a first mover. Because eventually, like that first mover, when you do that, you do it when no one else is doing it, so you have like more operational efficiency. If you wait and then you implement it in a year, you have no advantage. Everybody's doing it, and so there's like no opportunity there for you. So if you want to like actually implement AI, it's like implementing AI right now and implementing those things, because if you don't, someone else does it. And so for like the window, what I talked about with like what we built with Manus and a bunch of other AIs, that'll really only be good for me for 3 to 8 months before the next thing comes out, and then someone else just coded it and they didn't have to go build it themselves. Right. And so I have that much time to take that opportunity and capitalize on that and make money from that. But if you aren't implementing AI and learning about as much as you can, it's going to be so tough for you. Because the best people in CG, I know they are already on top of it.
Oh, yeah.
My best friends in the business are already on top of it, implementing it. We talk all the time, like, okay, how can we implement this and that? You should be learning more about it every day. Because if you don't adopt AI, you're going to die. Like your business will just cease. Yeah, change or die. Your business will cease to exist. It just is what it is.
Mm-hmm. And at the majority of like wholesaling businesses, they're not massive companies. So it's like we have that. The good thing is, because we're small, lean, mean, like we have the ability to pivot and change quickly and adapt new technology like this versus like New Western, like, or something like a bigger company like that, global or nationwide. No, I like that, man.
But then New Western's still owned by one guy, right? So like we think of them as being a huge company. I'm pretty sure the owner of New Western's in CG. that guy can go have a conversation. I don't know if they sell franchises or whatever, and be like, hey, here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to implement it. They're technically not a really big company. Like to be considered a large corporation in America, you got to be doing 100 million to 300 million plus, I think.
Yeah, I think a better example would have been like PennyMac, like a mortgage company, or like Rocket Loans,
like
something like
huge
that.
company like that.
Target.
But our competitor is New Western. Like our competitor are like the biggest people in CG. Those are the people who is for like they want to rip your throat out. They want to win. So like, you have to be able to adapt faster than them if you really want to do it, because they have such a big budget to where 1% on their bottom line is your revenue. Yeah. And so they can take your revenue and essentially invest it into AI. They don't blink an eye, and they're going to do more than 1% of their bottom line for sure. So that's why you got to stay in front of it and adapt and learn.
Gotcha.
Love it.
Do you see anything else that like maybe like a newer investor or like small 1 to 3 years in business, like, because you're a coach as well. So what do you see like the majority of investors doing wrong, and like what do you implement to correct that?
Ooh, what do I see the majority of investors are doing wrong? Everybody gets an offer. Everybody gets an offer. Everybody gets put through the sales process. Absolutely. You just never know. People hold all their cards close to the chest. Yesterday, we got a woman she was like, I want 260. And it dropped down to 100. Everybody gets put through the sales process. And 260 was $60,000 above Zillow. Everybody gets put through the sales process no matter what.
So don't like prejudge your leads, like another way.
Yeah, you just got to call them. You just got to call them. I know we need to have context on the leads, but I tell our people, don't even look at the context. Don't look at the context till you get them on the phone.
I love that. No, that's huge. Definitely do that, guys. Chenay, do we want to go into?
Yeah. Speaking of Zillow, we've all seen like, okay, so it started off like, Zillow gone wild on Facebook. Now they have their own freaking TV show on HGTV. There's these just crazy listings with, I don't know, 500 different paint colors. And I mean, you know what I'm talking about, right, Stratton? So what do you think is the difference between a Zillow gone wild home that is a quirky listing that actually does sell versus the one that is just as quirky but turns buyers off? Because there are these quirky price.
I think price is the king of all things. A deal, like if it's not selling, drop the price. Someone will pay you. Right? If it's a super quirky house, but then like we've sold a kind of quirky house, and the woman who bought from us was for sure a fucking quirky lady. Right? Like we sold it on a note, and the woman showed up wearing like a Cheshire cat, like double looped hat. And I was like,
oh man.
It was a different house though. Right? And so I think price determines everything in real estate. And I mean with all things. Because like if I saw it and I'm on there and I thought it was super ugly, but then like, oh wow, I can buy that thing for $20. I mean, I can't build that thing for $20. I can make money somehow. Like the price is the king of all things when it comes to that, because everybody's always looking for deals and opportunity. So I think that's the biggest difference.
Gotcha.
Do you think it's a weird marketing tactic to like point out the quirkiness of a house, or if it's that weird, do you say embrace it?
Ooh. If you're a wholesaler, I mean, you just kind of send it out. You don't want to talk about how quirky it is. Let someone else, because you think it's quirky doesn't mean someone else thinks it's quirky either.
Yeah, and like it's more of like an on market, like buying, like on market thing too. Is what I'm getting.
Think
Even
like innovation.
Market, I'm not saying quirky. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying I'm keeping it stereotypical. Let them decide. Like, because there's all sorts of people on the planet, and some person you may think it's weird. Other person's like, I've been looking for this. This is my gem.
That's true.
Like I've wanted this forever.
And like, or taking even price to like a higher level, it's like value. Like that's like even taking it one step more. Someone may pay more for like Barbie's dream house versus, but like it's not going to appeal to 99% like, but also like it has to be in the right market. It has to have that like that draw for that buyer. But
I have an example for you.
I
A
love
woman tried to sell us like the most haunted house in Missouri. Like she was like bragging about it, and
like
the first thing
Annabelle level,
like Annabelle, like
yuck.
on TV shows, it'd been on Ghost Hunters, it'd been on everything, and she's telling us about it. And I was like, I mean, ma'am, someone's gonna pay you a lot of money for that house. That person's just not gonna be me. I was like, because like again, someone values that a lot. I was like, but I'm in the business of turning and burning houses. That I can't wait for a couple years for someone to see this and be like, oh, this is the one. I've been waiting on this. We call those black swan buyers. I'm not a black swan buyer.
Noted.
I
love that. No, that's awesome.
Let's talk about Calvin.
Yes. So, singer producer Calvin Harris slaps, dude. But he is suing his former financial advisor, accusing him of steering money into a boondoggle, quote, real estate development without full disclosure, like due diligence, transparency, accountability. What flags should real estate investors watch for when dealing with like trusted money managers or partners in general?
I'd say as a real estate guy, you probably shouldn't have a money manager. You do deals. You control the returns. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You can probably drive greater returns than some other type of dude who's doing a deal, because you're only going to get what, 8 to 10%, maybe 12% pref they'll shoot for a 15% internal rate of return or a 22% internal rate of return. By doing your own deals, you should be able to outperform that, because that syndicator is going to get the majority of that deal. Like they're going to get the better half of it. You're just passive in it. But if I'm going to look at it and I think about the things we have been burnt on before, I'd say number one is the operator's background and what they've done. Do you have a lot of people? It's crazy. Some dude down in Southern California over the last 2 years was a big name, and apparently he raised a bunch of money, bought a bunch of houses, but didn't secure any of the private money lenders to the houses. He just took their money.
Does this fella have glasses?
No.
Oh, gotcha. There's another big name that we're saving for a different one. His name rhymes with Opez.
Oh, Ty.
Yeah.
I mean, but I have a very strong opinion about that one that we can talk about. But like with the real estate one, you need to, if you're going to invest in real estate, you want it to be secured by something. You want to be in first position. You want to make sure the operator is good and everything else. So like the deals we raise money on, like we'll typically just give them equity, the LLC. You can't necessarily force a liquidation because you're a passive investor, but you know it's secure and it's tied to something. That is number one. When you're doing development, though, it's hard because there's nothing there yet. Right? So, like, What is this? Is there collateral? Do you have assets? When do we get paid out? How long is this development supposed to take? I wouldn't really even know how to, like, underwrite that because it's not a deal we typically do. But if I think about my friends who raise money for development deals, they've collateralized shit. Like, they've had to collateralize other assets to make the bank feel comfortable to give them the loan and everything else. What else should you look for when you're investing? I think the person is such a big thing. Like, are they going to cut their arm off to make sure you get made whole? And you may not get like the preferred return that you wanted, but if you're investing, don't invest anything that you're not willing to lose. Right? We've lost lots of money on all sorts of stupid shit that I decided to do, but it was money that we could lose. If you're investing your last penny, it is. I mean, you're gambling.
It is gambling
with better odds. You're just gambling with better odds.
Correct.
Is all it is. Like you're mitigating risk as much as possible, making sure like, okay, what's our worst case scenario here? What does that look like? Okay, how is the operator? What are my supposed returns? Don't invest in anything where they tell you they're going to give you 30% month over month. That's just a red flag. Like let's
good to be true is it's too good to be true.
Has proven to me to always be too good to be true. And a once in a lifetime opportunity comes up about once a quarter, I would say. Like a once in a lifetime opportunity, someone will send me a DM or someone will give you a phone call like, hey, bro, have you seen this? Like, this is going to be crazy, blah, blah, blah. They come around every quarter. You'll be fine. If it smells fishy, it's fishy.
No, absolutely.
I love that. All right, one more for you. This is actually, okay, so Monaco billionaire Patrice Pastor, who's invested heavily in Carmel by the Sea, has publicly vented his frustration in city leadership delays and what he perceives as unfair treatment. He said that he's considering exiting the town entirely. So assume that you've invested millions in improving a small coastal town, but local politics are slowing everything down. Would you pull out, or would you push harder to influence change to get it done?
I'd say number one, it depends how long you've been doing it and what your plan is overall. Knowing Kalani's family's from out there, and you have to file a fucking report to remove a tree from your backyard. Like it's.
I was gonna say, like, it's California and it's like Northern California.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I know that's really hard. And this is, no matter what you do, money and politics will always be involved because all humans are fallible. And everybody has morals until significant amounts of money get involved. And then things start to get justified. I've seen it through and through. Everybody is a fucking saint until the checkbook comes out, where you either have to write a big check or someone's writing a big check to you.
Everybody has a price, so to speak.
Everybody has a price. And
I got
with him,
shit for saying that a while back, and somebody was like so flabbergasted that I would say that, and they're like, "I don't have a price." I'm like, "Yes, you do.
no, you have a price.
Everybody has one.
Everybody has a price.
Yep.
Unless it's like a moral and ethical line that you will absolutely not cross. Like, there are some things, like, no matter like how much you pay, like someone would pay you.
Yeah, it'd have to be something drastic. So, like, hey, you got to kill your kid, but I'll give you $1 billion. Obviously, I'm not going to kill my kid.
Like, no.
Yeah.
Right?
But like
no.
95%.
But when it's something like that, when it's something like where it's politics, you're like, bro, I just want fucking get the deal done. How much do you want? That guy is like, fuck. I guess I'm going to get the deal done for him. You know, like, our second house isn't going to be too bad, is it? We aren't hurting anybody. Like, and then those voices start to go, and you see it time and time and time again, to where I just think all absolute power corrupts absolutely. It has proven to me over time, I do not believe anybody who says, like, no, like, they are the moral king, they are the moral high ground. Because it's proven to me that they're not. You can look at the American government today. It's an absolute shit show, essentially controlled by all the money. Everyone goes in there. Everybody goes in there with, like, golden hearts. Things switch up really, really fast. Everybody has a price. But if I'm that guy, if I couldn't, because I think about, okay, if I had the money, there's a podcast called Founders, and there's a guy named Sam Zamuri. Sam Zamuri overthrew the government of Honduras or Venezuela. He overthrew it single-handedly to expand his banana trading company and to expand United Fruit. A full coup and everything. And this is back in the early 1900s.
When is that Netflix movie coming out? I'd see it.
Yeah.
Listen.
Bananas.
It's a book called The Fish That Ate the Whale. It's my favorite entrepreneur story of all time. Oh, nice. But for that guy, if I'm there, I'm not going to lie. I'm like, bro, what is it going to take to fucking get this thing done? But at the same time, you're playing an equity game, and he has probably pretty deep pockets by developing Carmel by the Sea.
Yeah, he's
I would
a billionaire.
pull out.
Yeah, Pebble Beach and,
yeah.
and Carmel.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Knowing what I know about California politics and seeing, like, just the corruption in Fresno, I would probably just pull out, dude. Like, okay, it is what it is. You don't want to have too much sunken cost bias, and by no means am I a better investor than the billionaire, right? By no means am I saying that. But when I analyze things and we start to chase bad money with good money, then I need to start to have that conversation of, like, all right, bro, like, where are we at? What are the odds of this getting done? How much longer is this going to take? Fuck it, bro. Like, let's just move on. We can go invest somewhere else. But then at the same time, because it's so public, you can't start to sell it off because everybody's going to know they got you by the balls. And they're going to be like, oh, you want to sell, huh? I read the newspaper article, and I've done that to someone. because there was a guy getting sued by the feds up by where we own a storage facility, and we were going to buy like 117 units from him, and he was getting sued by the feds for essentially trading sexual favors for rent.
Ooh.
And so I knew I had him by the balls, and I was like, no, like this is my price.
Leverage.
Like it was just my leverage in the deal. This is my price. This is what I'll do it at.
Dude, that's some like Billions Succession stuff right there. Like HBO miniseries, dude. I love it. Chenay, do we want to go to Out of the Box? I know we're kind of
we're running out of time. This is just such a great conversation.
It's fun to talk with you, man. I'm glad we had this opportunity to get.
I love talking to Strat. It's always a good time.
Chenay was right. You are cool.
Yeah, he is. So, okay, Strat, we're gonna let the listeners like get to know you a little bit better. What's one thing people think that you're good at, but you're really not?
What is one thing I think?
Catan? No,
I'm good at everything. So,
no. I mean, I feel like I'm not really good at anything. You know,
mediocre at best.
Yeah, like I'm mediocre at best at most things, and I fuck up every day. I can I write a weekly newsletter, and I highlight my weekly mistake. Like that is like something I write about every week of like, what did I mess up this week? Oh, well, I did this and it cost us $8,000. Oh, I did this and it cost us $3,000. I don't. There's so many things I'm just not good at. I wouldn't say I'm really
someone
the
that
best
thinks
at anything.
There's someone that thinks like you're good at.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like, isn't it called Catan? Isn't that the game that you play with Kalani?
Yeah, we play Catan a lot, but I'd say I'm pretty good.
Okay.
I'd say I'm pretty. I like playing Catan. I will toot my own horn. Kalani is slightly better than me. She didn't lose for like 6 months when we were playing with her family. Like it was like from December until May or June, she didn't lose. Every time we played.
That's pretty good run.
She's a little bit better.
That's pretty good.
She's a little bit better than me.
So nobody thinks that you're out. Okay, well, your son probably thinks that you're really great at something. What's something
my son probably thinks I'm really strong, and I'm really not that strong.
Okay.
There's one. My son thinks I'm him. My son thinks I'm the man in every way, and he has like 3-4 more years before he's a teenager, and he doesn't think that anymore.
I know I'm on the brink of that myself, so I feel your pain.
I guess I'm not really that athletic, even though I played a lot of sports. I'm not really super athletic, at least not anymore.
Based on what you're saying too, like your hard work, like made up for a lot of that natural athleticism.
Hard work was by far the actual trait that got me there, not necessarily my athleticism. I just watched more film, and I was able to analyze plays better, rather than being a freak athlete. I really wasn't freakish.
And you watch Walter Payton, so there you go.
And I watched a lot of Walter Payton.
What's the worst advice you've ever ignored that maybe cost you a lot of money?
No, worst advice that he's ignored. That he's glad he yeah. So like.
All right, yeah, I'll re-say that.
Yeah.
Advice I'm glad I ignored.
What's the worst advice you've ever ignored and glad you did?
This is more of a learned lesson, and this is the internet telling you need to have multiple streams of income, and you really don't. You need to lock in and actually get that active income bumping. One of my bigger mistakes, one of my bigger mistakes is buying rentals too early, because you're building up another business, bro. Like I started 11 different businesses in my 20s, and it gave me a lot of different business experience, but I didn't need to do that. And it just distracts. I am not Elon Musk. I don't have the bankroll to actually pay these quality people to run these things for me. To where if you would just lock in on the one thing and just get that skill up and just build up your bankroll, that will much better serve you than chasing passive income that'll give you $200 a month. Just go make a fuck ton of cash. And then when we have a tax problem, then we can go start to buy rentals because it makes sense. But don't do it too early.
No, that's smart. I made that mistake. Scaled to 17 units my first year, and then I'm like, shoot, I'm out of money, and I'm only making like $200 a door, and I live in
you're
Southern
out of
California.
Someone
like, I can't quit my
moves.
job.
Exactly.
No, that's great. Stratton, you already said the first one, but what are your top 3 business books that you'd recommend people read, other than The Fish That Ate the Whale? That's cool.
The Fish That Ate the Whale is a great one. It's a biography about Sam Zamuri. Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill is a great, I think everybody should read that. And it goes into the devil wants you to drift in your life instead of being laser focused on one thing and moving with a purpose and moving towards something instead of just like drifting from one thing to another and not necessarily having. Thank you, babe. Kalani brought me lunch. She's the best.
Oh, amazing.
Instead of not just being locked in and going for it and being maniacal about that one thing in every way. If you pick something, like I said, you might as well be maniacal about it if you're going to play pickleball against Granny, or if you're having sex with your wife, or whatever it is. Like, we might as well just be maniacal about it. But Outwitting the Devil is a must-read self-help book for everybody. The Fish That Ate the Whale. Unique Ability 2.0 would be the other one. And it goes into like Clifton's strengths tests. And I was talking to Pace about this the other day. I just want to operate my own unique ability. So one thing that's great about my partnership with Dean is a little bit more of an operator than I am. I'm a lot more of like a visionary. And so that works for me. Like, I know in any business or anything that I do, my job is for ideas, leadership, culture, and to make it rain money. Everyone else's job is to clean up the money. I'll make it rain money. You guys clean up the money and make it look nice. I can design the system. I can think about it. Okay, I want it to look this way. I don't want to be the one who has to manage that every day, like manage the operational system every day. And Unique Ability 2.0 really helped bring that to the forefront to know what I should be operating in that I'm actually good at, so it doesn't feel like I'm working absolutely every day. Because if I'm doing what I like to do every day, it doesn't feel like I'm work, and then I can't actually outwork everyone.
Amen.
If it feels like I'm doing, like Dean can lock himself into a room and just do some Excel sheet shit. I can't do that. Like, I have to take some Adderall, and I got to be prepared, and I got to really lock in on that if I'm going to do the Excel stuff.
If drugs help you do a task that you need to do, you probably should outsource that task. I think
you should probably but then sometimes
That's good advice.
Sometimes you can't avoid it. Sometimes you just have to get it done because it has to be done.
No, absolutely.
But you just know it's not sustainable. Mm-hmm. Everyone can do something for a decent amount of time, but I can't do something forever. So knowing what I can do forever makes it so I can actually work more and it doesn't feel heavy. Trevor Mock has a great thing about this called like your energy audit. So if you could do like the energy audit, do Unique Ability 2.0, really learn what your greatest talents are just innately that your personality resonates with. That'll take you really far in business too.
That's awesome, man. No, I appreciate it. Chenay, do we want to do one more, you think, and wrap up?
Yeah, I want to hear your craziest seller or buyer story, and then we'll wrap up.
I don't really have any crazy buyer stories.
Okay. I know you've got a shit ton of crazy ass sellers.
That we ended up working with, or just people who come through the system?
It doesn't matter. Just your craziest, who's been one of the craziest sellers you've ever had to deal with?
This
I mean, like Adam Whitney had a headless cat seller. I'll tell you that story later. But yeah, just like something crazy.
Last year, we had a lead come in, and I was talking to her during the 0 to $1 million challenge. And she's telling me all about the house. And then she's like, oh, it's in great shape. And she's telling me like this and that and like being really detailed. And then I'm talking to her about, oh, so, why are you interested in selling? And she says, well, I'm legally blind.
Okay.
And I was, ma'am, how can you tell me about the condition the house is in if you're legally blind?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like,
that one blew me away. And this chick was fucking crazy. We ended up blocking her. Because like we made the offer, like, man, we can't trust what you're saying. Like, you're legally, like, you just admitted to us. and she was not happy with our offer. Like, we ended up blocking her. That to me is like been by far the most like, bro, what?
All sellers are liars.
All sellers are liars. And the majority of the people, the hardest part about, I think, our business is we deal with very eclectic, sometimes very low frequency humans. And it is our job to like keep the energy up as we have to deal with those people, because we deal with so many different humans.
Well, our job is to solve problems. And normally if somebody has to sell their house cash off market, like there's a fast sale, like something went wrong, like, and you have, as a wholesaler, you have to fix the problem. And it's getting people in a different frame of like, oh, I actually do have a problem and this is the best solution. And there's some convincing that needs to be done, but it's really getting people to that right framework of mindset to the point. No,
or they're legally blind and
or they're legally blind telling you about the kitchen updates.
Yeah. Like, I was like, bro, make it make sense.
Make it make sense. Oh man. Well, Stratton, dude, thank you so much for joining the podcast, man. We learned so much about just tying athleticism, just competitive nature to the business, marketing tips, and don't trust a blind person when they tell you the condition of the house. So appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining us. And we'll see you later.
Yeah, Strat, where can people find you? Where can they stalk
on Instagram at Stratty Daddy. If you're interested in the Deal Champs community, you can go to dealchamps.com. But send me a DM on Instagram. I answer all my DMs.
Awesome. We'll throw that in the show notes for sure.
Sweet. Absolutely. Sounds good. Thank you. Join us next time, guys. See ya.
Keep it real.
Oh, wait. Oh, and sorry.
Yeah, I'm like, hello, call to action. Done.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, I got it. If you found value, from the podcast, you have some actionable steps, please like and follow on YouTube and subscribe to wherever you're listening to the podcast show. Thanks, and see you next week.